Most roof leaks cost $12 to fix, not $1,200, $12. And the reason your last roofer quoted $800 has almost nothing to do with the repair itself. It has to do with the fact that he drove across town, put a crew on the clock, set up a 40-foot ladder, and carried $1 million of liability insurance up onto your shingles. The actual fix, once someone's up there, is usually a tube of sealant in 15 minutes. That gap between what the repair costs and what the visit costs is the whole reason this kind of video exists. I spent way too much time the last 18 months reading trade manuals, talking to 3 roofers who were willing to be honest about their pricing, and climbing around on my own roof at 6 in the morning with a flashlight trying to figure out where water was getting in. What I came away with was this. Most homeowners don't have a roof problem. They have a diagnosis problem. And the diagnosis problem is the whole game. Think about the economics from the roofer's side for a second, because once you see it, the pricing stops feeling like a scam. A small repair, a cracked pipe boot, a popped nail, a 3-inch tear, is maybe 20 minutes of actual work. But to get there, he has to dispatch a 2-person crew, fuel the truck, pay the workers' comp, carry general liability, set up the ladder, and assume every minute of risk while someone is on your roof. That service call costs him $300 to $400 in overhead before anyone touches a tool. So he charges $600, $700, $800, not because the repair is hard, but because the trip is expensive. It's the same reason a plumber charges $90 to unclog what you could have unclogged with a coat hanger. The truck has to leave the shop. That's not a conspiracy. That's labor economics when somebody has to drive to your house. But here's what it produces over time. An entire country of homeowners who've been trained to believe roof repair is inherently expensive. So when a small leak starts, a single shingle lifting, a cracked sealant bead, a drip that only shows up during sideways rain, they delay. They put a bucket under it. They tell themselves it's probably fine, because the number they heard last time was $800. And that small leak over 2 winters rots the decking underneath, rusts out the truss plate, saturates the insulation, and turns into a genuine, honestly expensive job. The scam, if there is one, isn't the roofer's pricing. It's the feedback loop that pricing creates. Here's the history almost nobody tells you. Asphalt shingles, as we know them, have been around since 1903, when a Michigan roofer named Henry Reynolds cut roll roofing into individual tabs and started selling them by the square. The industry has refined that concept for 120 years, but the core product is barely changed. The roofing cement you can still buy at any hardware store. The black tar-looking stuff in a tin can, labeled plastic roofing cement or flashing cement, is chemically almost identical to what you could have bought in 1915. Asphalt, a light solvent to keep it workable, and fiber to give it body. A gallon costs around $12. 1 gallon is more. Roofing cement than most houses will need for their entire existence. Rubber pipe boots, those black collars around every plumbing vent sticking up out of your roof, came in during the 1960s when neoprene got cheap enough to replace hand-folded lead flashing. Lead lasted essentially forever. Neoprene lasts 8 to 12 years in the north, 5 to 7 in Arizona or Texas, because ultraviolet light breaks down the polymer chains and the rubber cracks radially outward from the pipe. And here's the thing that changes how you look at your roof once you know it. The single most common source of roof leaks in North American houses, by a wide margin, is not the shingle field. It's those rubber pipe boots, failing silently, dripping water down the outside of the vent pipe into your attic for months or years before a stain shows up on your bedroom ceiling. Second biggest culprit is step flashing, which is the series of bent metal rectangles tucked under each shingle course where your roof meets a sidewall or a chimney. When step flashing is installed correctly, lapped under each shingle and up behind the siding, it lasts as long as the roof. When it's installed with a bead of caulk instead, which is what lazy installs rely on, it lasts until the caulk fails, 2 to 4 years. And then you get what looks like a window leak, but is actually water running behind your siding because the kick-out flashing at the bottom of the step flash run is missing. Kick-out flashing, that little diverter that kicks water away from the wall at the eave, has been required by code for decades, and half the houses in America don't have it because the siding crew and the roofing crew each assumed it was the other guy's job. Once you know those 3 things, pipe boots, step flashing, kickouts, you've accounted for maybe 80% of residential roof leaks. The shingle field itself almost never leaks unless a tree hit it or it's past its service life. Which brings us to why the materials are so cheap and why the DIY versions of these repairs are genuinely the same repair a pro would do. Silicone caulk, first of all, is the wrong product for anything on a roof. I know it's at the front of every hardware store aisle. I know the tube says waterproof. It's still wrong. Silicone breaks down under direct UV in 2 to 4 years. It doesn't bond well to asphalt. It doesn't accept paint. And it pulls away from metal as the metal expands and contracts in thermal cycles. What you actually want, what every commercial roofer carries on the truck, is polyurethane sealant, The common brand names are NP1, Sikaflex 1A, and Loctite PL Roof and Flashing. Any of them. Roughly $10 a tube. Lasts 20 years on a roof. Flexes through temperature swings. Bonds to asphalt, metal, concrete, wood, and itself. The reason it's not at the front of the aisle is that it has a shorter shelf life than silicone, so big box stores stock less of it and bury it on a lower shelf. That's the entire story. Not suppression. Inventory management. The roofing cement is the same situation. You trowel it on, you press a piece of fiberglass mesh into it for anything bigger than a hairline crack, and you trowel another layer on top. That 3-layer sandwich, cement, mesh, cement, is called a patch in the trade, and it's the same technique a commercial roofer uses on $1 million flat roof. Scaled down to a cracked shingle or a torn pipe boot, it costs about $4 in material and lasts as long as the rest of the roof. Not forever. Nothing on a roof lasts forever, but as long as the shingles around it, which is the only honest promise anyone can make. Let me walk through the actual repairs most homeowners can do safely, and the ones you should absolutely not touch. Caveats first, because this part matters. If your roof is steeper than a 6/12 pitch, meaning it rises 6 inches for every 12, inches horizontal, don't go up there without proper fall protection. If the surface is wet, mossy, frosty, or hot enough that the shingles feel soft, don't go up. Asphalt shingles above about 90 degrees start tearing if you walk on them. Early morning, dry, moderate pitch, ladder tied off at the top, somebody on the ground. If any of those conditions aren't true, this isn't the repair for you to do yourself. Repair 1, the big one, cracked pipe boot. Look at every plumbing vent poking up out of your roof. The black rubber collar where it meets the metal flashing base will eventually crack outward from the pipe in a starburst pattern. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The cheap fix isn't even a replacement. It's a product called a permaboot, or a lifetime tool collar, which is a rigid plastic sleeve that slides down over the failed rubber and seals around the pipe with a gasket. $20 to $30. Installs in under 15 minutes. No removing shingles. If you have 3 plumbing vents on your roof, you can recollar all. Owe them on a Saturday morning for under $100, and you've eliminated the single biggest leak risk in the house. Repair 2, popped nails. Walk the roof and look for nail heads sitting proud of the shingle, sometimes with a little rust ring around them. Press each one back down with a hammer. If it's stripped, drive a new galvanized ring shank nail an inch next to it. Then cover each exposed nail head with a nickel-sized dab of roofing cement. 1 tube does 20 or 30 nails, 5 minutes per nail. That's it. That's the entire repair. Repair 3, flashing reseal at every penetration in your roof. Chimney, skylight, vent stack, satellite mount. There's a bead of sealant where metal meets shingle or metal meets wall. If that bead is cracked, peeling, or pulling away, scrape out as much of the old sealant as you can with a putty knife. Wipe the surfaces clean with a rag dampened in mineral spirits. Let it dry for 2 minutes, and lay a fresh bead of polyurethane sealant. Smooth it with a gloved finger. That's a 20-year repair for about $8. Repair 4, small shingle tear or crack. If a shingle tab is lifted, split, or has a wind-damaged corner, and the shingle is still flexible when you touch it, not brittle, not crumbling, put a generous layer of roofing cement underneath, press the tab back down, then put a thin second layer on top, and bed a 3-inch square fiberglass mesh into it. One more feather-thin coat on top. It looks rough up close and is completely invisible from the ground, and it holds as long as the surrounding roof. What you should absolutely not DIY, in case it needs saying. Anything where the decking feels spongy underfoot, because that's rot and you're looking at structural work. Anything on a roof that's already past its rated life, because patches on a dying roof are money thrown at a job that needs full replacement. Ice dams, because the actual fix is attic ventilation and insulation, not surface sealant, and sealing ice dams from above can make them worse. Full chimney counterflashing, because it requires cutting into brick mortar joints, and anything you'd need a harness for on a roof where you don't already own a harness and know how to tie off to a proper anchor. Here's the part that, honestly, I think is the actual point. You are not being scammed by your roofer, usually. He's charging what it costs him to be there. What you can do, what homeowners used to do as a matter of course 50 and 60 years ago, before the economy convinced everyone, to outsource every last thing, is learn to diagnose the small stuff and handle the small stuff. A $10 tube of polyurethane sealant applied in April, before the spring rains, prevents the $800 November emergency. A 20-minute inspection of your pipe boots every spring catches the crack before it soaks a ceiling. Most of this isn't forbidden knowledge. It's just forgotten, because the people who knew it were your grandparents, and nobody wrote it down in a form that competes with a 2-minute miracle video. The roofing industry isn't hiding any of this. Every bit of it is in the standard trade manuals. The problem is that the honest repair information sits in the boring. Middle, too unsexy for the miracle cure crowd. Too DIY for the homeowners who've been taught to assume any roof work requires a pro, and so it gets drowned out in both directions. A can of roofing cement, a tube of polyurethane, a couple of pipe boot collars, and a willingness to climb a ladder once or twice a year is most of what separates a house that stays dry from a house that accumulates quiet damage. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, actual techniques, honest materials, real cost breakdowns of repairs homeowners have been talked out of handling themselves, subscribe. I'm working through a whole list of them, and if you're staring at a leak right now and can't tell whether it's a DIY job or a call somebody job, drop a photo in the comments. Either I'll take a look, or one of the retired tradesmen who hang out in the comments will, because those folks show up here, and honestly, that's the best part of doing this.